Hello and welcome, guys. My name's Selmas, and here we're going to be doing a quick look at disc healing for oil tanks. Alright, you see I got my little gnome here. You can tell he's not got the best gear, but that's irrelevant. So, let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to jump into going over stats first. And our stat priority here is Intellect, Spirit, Haste, Crit, Mastery. Now I'm going to hit on these, go a little bit more detail in why I say this. First off, Intellect, we all know, gives us increased healing. It increases the size of our heals. Not only does it do that, but it gives us more mana regen and a bigger mana pool, which is a huge deal, guys. So Intellect is going to be our number one stat. From there, we're going to go ahead and go into Spirit. Spirit is always huge for us healers. Obvious reasons. Keep that mana coming back as we're throwing it away. Throwing all them heals on fail raid members, maybe. I don't know. Either way, we're blowing through mana to keep these guys up. So Spirit's going to be second, just so you can get that mana regen. Now, for a third, it's basically tied between Crit and Haste. Haste is not, honestly, that huge of a deal, but I like to get it where I'm comfortable, where I know my heals are going to come out in time to be able to heal that tank, so he doesn't drop too low or possibly even die. So as we can see right here, I'm at 7.5% haste. That puts me at 2.3 second cast time on my greater heal, which I found to be a good medium for my haste. Now, my raid configuration, what we have is I'm getting an additional 5% bust from a Shami in haste, so I'm up to 12.5%. Now what that does, I think it drops me down to an actual 2.1 or a 2 second cast. I believe it's a 2.1 second cast time. So during raids I'm at a 2.1 second cast time. Alright, moving on to Crit here. Crit, this is a big thing for us guys, especially as disc tank healers. It not only increases or gives us a chance to throw out big, huge heals, but as well as proc Divine Aegis. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to see if I can get a little proc and just show you what that's all. Okay, 51k. That's huge, guys. That is a quarter of a tank's health. That is huge. Not only is it doing that much healing, but it's also proccing Divine Aegis. 20,000 absorb damage. That is awesome. We're getting that on top of our regular healing. So, Crit is a great thing. Not only, it procs Divine Aegis, but if you get it back to back, we got one crit here, we got another crit there. What that's going to do is it's Divine Aegis stacks. Every time you crit while Divine Aegis is up, 30% still gets put into absorbed. So I'm actually up to 34,000, and the highest I've reached is 49,000 absorbed damage. That's huge for stopping the tanks from taking damage while you're rolling up that next penance, or you're going up with that next big greater heal. Now flash heal, that's whatever. If you're using it, you're bad, don't do it. Now heal, if there's really no damage going out and you want to keep rolling, keep the tanks healed, it's great. Just continuously do it. Keep your grace up. Keep your 3 stacks of that. That's the only reason I can say to cast heal. Now, we're going to go on to Mastery. Mastery, not a huge deal for tank healing as disc. It gives you increased absorption on your power word shield, which mine right now, 25. With, I think, reforging the Auto Mastery I could over Crit, I think it was only doing an additional 3k, whereas then we saw with my Divine Aegis, the more I crit, I could get up to 49, and I crit pretty well, so it's not a thing. Crit's pretty big, especially when you bring Inner Focus into it, increases your chance to crit by 25%. I'm already at 16, plus I have a Feral Druid in my raid, so I'm already at raid buffed. I'm looking at 21. So when I pop this bad boy, I'm looking at 46% crit chance, which is great. Getting those Divine Aegis rolling. So again, Mastery not a huge deal if you're tank healing as disc. Now, if you are a raid healer as disc, yes, it's a pretty big deal. especially if you're a bubble bot. You just spam bubbles, keep them going. Obviously, you just shield for more damage at that point. But that's what we have so far as stats. We're going to be looking at Intellect, Spirit, Haste to 7.5, and then Crit and Mastery being last. So, not too bad. And let's just go ahead and take a quick look at my talents. I'm at a 31.82, taking all the important stuff in Disc, obviously, getting your Power Word Barrier. Grace is huge, always taking Inner Focus. Now, if you're a big greater heal guy, Train of Thought is awesome. It reduces the cooldown time of your Inner Focus every time you cast Great Heal, which that's my number one thing besides Penance. If Penance is on cooldown, it's greater heals going out with a few bubbles here and there just to, keep them up. Power Infusion, obviously. You should always be taking Renewed Hope and Strength of Soul. Divine Aegis, obviously. Other than that, pretty standard here. I do get my Empowered Healing, increases all my healing done by 15%. Divine Fury reduces the cast time. Like I said, keeping that cast time low so I can get those heals out on the tank. Inspiration, this is pretty cool. Just more going off a crit, is basically all we're doing here, especially as a tank. For a crit, that's awesome. So I'm actually getting Divine Aegis and Inspiration on a crit. And obviously, Field Shadows. This is huge, reduces the cooldown time of your Shadow Fiend by 60 seconds. And everyone knows as Disc, like I said before, like I said earlier, we have mana issues. So, not going to go too far into talents, guys. Not a huge deal. We'll go ahead and take a look at glyphs, actually, now. For your Prime, you're obviously going to want Penance, reduces the cooldown on Penance by 2 seconds, which is huge. Power Word Shield, I take this just because I like to get that extra little heal off on someone when I shield them, so it's not only shielding them, it's getting that health up a little bit, and I can come back to them later. And then Prayer of Healing. It's not so much for tank healing, but I use it because I do help out on the raid, so heals an additional 20% over 6 seconds as a hot. Great thing to have. Glyph of Desperation. Basically, if you're stunned or anything, you can still cast your, Pain Suppression. Went retarded for a second, sorry guys. So that's great. Glyph of Prayer of Mending. 60% additional healing done to on the first charge. That is huge for tank healing. Get those bigger heals on the tank. And this is basically, guys, an instant cast at this time. Basically, it's going to go hit the tank. Tank's going to get hit. Boom. You're healing for an additional 60%. Also, it's going to bounce around a little bit and might end up back to the tank. Just certain things like that. Alright, now since there's really not a whole bunch we can go ahead and put for our major glyphs, I just put Inner Fire. Take less damage. Means less concentration on healing myself. Pretty cool. Not too bad. There's a few other ones you can take. You can take Dispels Magic, which it's cool, but I don't really need it. You can take Fade. It's pretty smart to take that just so you can kind of, if you have Threat, you pull Threat, Healing Threat. But my tanks are pretty good at picking everything up, so I just thought it was kind of a waste. I'd rather make sure I'm taking less damage. Now, as for our miners, Glyph of Levitate. It's a fun thing to have. Levitate's awesome. Why not get to use it for free? Fortitude, you have someone that goes down in the middle of a fight. You don't want to be blowing all your mana on buffing them again. So this reduces the mana cost by 50%. And then Shadow Fiend. Receive 5% of maximum mana if your Shadow Fiend dies from damage. We don't see that going out an awful lot because as of, I forget what patch it was, but they take less damage. So, those are my glyphs, what we're looking at there. I guess let's talk about reforging. Big things here, guys, is especially with Firelands gear, most of it does not have Spirit on it. If it doesn't have Spirit on it, always reforge your Mastery into Spirit. Now, if it has Spirit on it, and it has Haste on it, and you're at the Haste cap, or where I say the Haste should be at 7.5, reforge that Haste into Crit, or if it has Spirit Mastery and you're at the 7.5% of haste, go ahead and reforge that into crit. So, Spirit, make sure it has Spirit. If not, reforge into Spirit. If you're good on your haste, reforge it into crit. What else we're going to... Okay, let's just do gemming. Main things with gems here, you're obviously going to take your Ember Shadow Spirit Diamond, 54 intellect and 2% maximum mana. As for my yellows, I take between the two, depending on where I'm at with my haste, like I said, and my crit. So I take the Reckless Ember Topaz if I need the extra little bit of haste to get that 7.5. But if I'm good at haste, I take the 20 intellect, 20 crit, which is the Potent Ember Topaz for the yellows. Now for reds, we do Brilliant Inferno Ruby, straight intellect, 40 intellect, that's great. Like I said, that's our #1 stat to be going for. And as for blue, we go ahead and take the Purple Purified Demon's Eye, 20 intellect, 20 spirit. You always want to be gemming and getting that Sokka bonus. There's an array of gems out there that are good for us, so we might as well get that extra little bit of intellect, spirit, or whatever else the bonus may be at the time. It's always nice having good stats. So that's where we're at. Let's go over a few add-ons I use. I use Voodoo for healing. That's my big thing. It's a lot easier than Healbot. Grid's cool if you like it, but I got keybinds everywhere, and not just linked to spells. So, I mean, it's the huge mess. So, Voodoo, great. I'll be doing a tutorial on that another time, so if you want to download it, I can show you how to set it up. Look for the video. It'll be there. Bartender, obviously, just to kind of get my spells down here. Get looking that way with my cooldowns over here. Also got mixed scrolling battle text, which it'll pop up over here saying what I healed or what I'm healed for, and what I heal for to other targets over here, as well as it. Go ahead and cast Penance. As soon as Penance comes off cooldown, basically I'm going to get a little pop-up down here saying, hey, it's off cooldown, as well as any other cooldowns, spells, Inner Focus, Shadow Fiend, etc. What else do we got here? Ice HUD. Ice HUD is great. I use it. It's a nice little show your mana here, health over here. Now for tracking Prayer of Mending, see how many charges are up, even what it's healing for. Not a huge deal, and it tells you what target's on. Basically, it lets you know how many charges so you can keep that thing rolling. As a tank healer, you really should be having it rolling every time it's off cooldown because you want that on your tank. So, not a huge deal, but I still enjoy it. What else do I have? What else do I have? I have a lot of stuff. Give me a second here, guys. DBM, obviously. Man. I mean, that's pretty much it raid-wise for raiding add-ons. Obviously, I've got my recount over here, and down here is where my Omen is, and my DBM is counting over here and coming over here to let me know when it is time to be serious. Arg. But I think this is going to wrap it up for this little episode of disc healing for tanks. I'll be putting out some more guides, a little more in-depth, more detailed guides with rotations. I'm coming up with that, and like I said, you will be seeing that Voodoo guide come up if I do see enough comments in there asking how to use it, or if you guys want any other guides on anything else. I play an array of classes, roles, etc. So just feel free, throw some comments in there, give me some feedback. This is my first video. Appreciate you watching, and I will hopefully be having more soon. So, thanks guys, appreciate it, and as always, win.